I can procrastinate with the best of them, but then I turn in a paper at the end of it that barely gets me a passing grade. Meanwhile, Nathan MacKinnon procrastinates and then scores overtime winners. Avs win over the New York Rangers 3-2 in overtime. I think the quality of this game is a little bit deceiving for the Avs, and I think it's a lot better than at least I initially thought. There is still definitely some bad in there. A good portion of the first period, the Avs really struggled to generate any offense at all. But their underlyings look really good, and even if you don't like advanced statistics, by the end of the game, the Avs outshot the Rangers 42-26. That's pretty dominant. And as we've come to know the Avs this year, they've played better in this game as the game went on. It's a bit oxymoronic. The Avs gave up 2 goals in the third period, despite that being their best period of the game. And to give credit where credit is due, the only reason this game was even remotely close was Igor Shesterkin. He played great for all of regulation, or the Avs may have run away with this game. I don't think it was a horrible first. I don't think it was a good first period either, though. But it's 0-0 at the end of it, and if that's your bad period, you're doing a good job, especially on the road. The second period was a much more steady effort from the Avs. They were consistently the better team throughout that period, at least through the first 15 minutes, and they finally break through with a depth goal for the reward. This starts with a clean breakout from the Avs. Malinsky to Girard, Girard to Natchez, and I love what Natchez does here. It's not just speed through the neutral zone. He carries this in and gets deep into the offensive zone with control of the puck. That's what the Avs need to do more of on their entries on the power play. They do it fine at 5-on-5, as you can see here. Natchez goes around the world a little bit here and gets it back up to Malinsky, and a simple play that we've seen a lot of from Malinsky from this point. Just let it go. Fire a puck to the middle where you know there's bodies, and it's Parker Kelly that gets a ridiculous tip here. Don't have a good angle of it, but trust me, it's a great tip. That's Parker Kelly's 6th goal of the season, which I know is not a crazy number, but Parker Kelly's career high is 8. There are 54 games left. Parker Kelly is very likely going to get a career high in goals this year. And credit to the Avs for finding a play that's been consistently successful for them, especially in this stretch of maybe more inconsistent offense. That Sam Malinsky shot from the point that's playing for a tip is working. Malinsky picks up a point for the 3rd straight game in a row, and even going a step further than Parker Kelly, that point ties Malinsky for his career high in a season. He's going to get a career high for sure. The Avs play with their 1-0 lead, and while they can't extend it, they really give up almost nothing dangerous to New York in the second period. And then we have the third. The Avs outshoot the Rangers 19-8 in the third period, and somehow they only score once to New York's twice. Do you know how many times I've almost called them the Islanders in this video? Should be illegal to play the New York teams back-to-back. 4 minutes into the third period, an Avalanche disaster occurs. This is mostly just me being salty, but as this puck gets played around and then clearly exits this area along the wall, you're going to see the Rangers player just pinning Devon Toews to the ground, refusing to let him up and not letting him out of this area. It's worth noting because Devon Toews is a defenseman, and if he's up on his skates and getting back to play defense, maybe this silliness doesn't end up happening, because as New York gets the puck and breaks it out, the man back is Marty Natchez. And I don't know if you know this, but Marty Natchez is not a defenseman, and after this play, I might even argue Marty Natchez cannot defend, period. He is directly not competitive at all on this play from Connor Sheary. Sheary does a good job to fight off some stick checks from MacK, and then puts a great shot on this to beat Blackwood. So, in any situation where you need a forward to be the last man back, it cannot be Marty Natchez. That man is absolutely lost on the defensive side one-on-one. And I don't think Natchez played a particularly good game. I would even go far as to say it felt like he was playing a bad game. But he picked up 3 assists. And even if you make defensive mistakes, even if you give up goals directly, if you have a 3-point night, if you outscore the issues you create, your job is getting done. And I think that issue does expand beyond Natchez. Obviously, he's directly at fault for whatever happened on that goal. But the Avs top line, at least for the first 45 minutes of this game, were really not playing very well. I would even argue badly. Lehkonen, MacKinnon, Natchez, all 3 of them looked like they were struggling with the puck and struggling to convert just about anything. And yes, that absolutely includes the power play, on which the Avs went 0 for 2 again tonight, and were frankly not even very competitive on them. I just can't keep talking about the power play. It's bad, genuinely horrible on the road. I think they're sub 7% on the road now. it is what it is. But the thing about superstar players is that even when they are maybe having a bad game, they can still do something great. Tied 1-1 late in the third period, it was Nathan MacKinnon's time. It's not been a very good night for the Avs top line here. Natchez coming in, tries to slide a pass across to Leckie, and Leckie goes for the shot here. It's not a very well executed shot, but as the save gets made, the puck pops up in the air, and here is the difference between the Avs in this game against the Rangers versus against the Islanders. This puck drops down, it's a 50-50 puck battle. Leckie falls over in the process, but still manages to win this puck. The work was not there against the Isles, it's absolutely here against the Rangers. MacKinnon flips it out high, maybe gets a little bit lucky there as it sneaks through. The Avs defensemen play a little bit of pitch and catch before Natchez takes another shot. Good that he opts to shoot it. Puck bounces up in the air, comes free, another rebound from Shesterkin, and Nathan MacKinnon might have been a baseball player in a past life. That's a nice finish up high. Doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be all world. It just has to be the right guy in the right spot. And Nathan MacKinnon has been the right guy in the right spot a lot this season. It is also great hand-eye coordination. If you put me there with a hockey stick, I'd miss that puck 50 times in a row. But the reality is you don't have to be a perfect hockey player. You just have to show up when the Avs need you. That probably should have won the Avs the game. They almost score again. They thought they scored again shortly later in the third period, but upon review, I think it was pretty clear that puck did not cross the goal line, so that one doesn't count. And apparently, the Avs have to have a controversial goal scored against them in every single game. Devon Toews has the puck loosely in the corner here and is going to try to flip it out on his backhand past Panarin. I'm going to play this in real time for a couple of seconds, and then I'm going to ask you a question. You ready? Was that puck played with a high stick by Artemi Panarin? Because if you answered yes, this puck then falls to the ice and gets collected by a Ranger. Surely that should be a whistle. I thought it was played with a high stick. The NHL and the referees certainly didn't, though. So what should have been a high stick or a clear, in my opinion, is now a continued possession for the Rangers. They continue to work in the offensive zone. I don't even think the Avs necessarily do anything wrong here besides not get that puck out of the zone because the Rangers might have cheated. And then a puck comes from outside. Beautiful tip. You're not stopping that. I could sit here and rant and rave about the NHL and their refs not knowing the rules and getting calls wrong. It would not be an uncommon thing for me to do on these videos. But instead, I want to give a ton of credit to the Colorado Avalanche here. This third period was absolutely built to deflate and destroy a team. The Avs played very well for the majority of it, do not get rewarded, lose the period, and get taken into overtime with a last-minute goal that arguably should not have even counted. All of the momentum is going New York's way, and you were prepared for this game to end poorly for Colorado. You get a bit into overtime, and Bednar puts out MacKinnon and Natchez together, and here we go. You know what's coming. Oh. Avs top three players, MacKinnon, Natchez, and MacK out on the ice in overtime. It usually ends in disaster, but I want to give the Avs a lot of credit for playing the overtime the right way here. Natchez is weaving, they're bobbing, they're continually passing it back, resetting at the blue line, but they don't do the big reset. They don't get out of the zone and completely turn back, and like we see so many teams do here, really slow overtime down. On the watch along, I was even telling them to do that, and I was very wrong about that. The Avs wear down the Rangers' defense. They're able to tire them out a little bit by keeping the puck in the zone and making their life a little bit harder, and that allows Nathan MacKinnon to collect a puck, turn on the Jets, and start doing the incredible. He first turns off, creates space for himself, then walks to the middle towards a dangerous area, and just puts a disgusting move down. You have to respect the shot. It's good enough that you can't just let him take it. And then the drag across to the backhand side lights New York on fire, and this might be the best backhand I've ever seen from Nathan MacKinnon. What a winner. That is the all-world version of Nathan MacKinnon. Probably his best goal of the season so far. Absolute superstar shit. The Avs get a big win. Nathan MacKinnon turns a game that was probably going to go somewhere between bad and okay down for him into a great one. No one's going to remember all the poor plays in the first two periods of this game from MacKinnon. They're going to remember that disgustingly good game-winning goal. The Avs are just that hard to beat, and it's great to see that resilience return to this Avalanche team in this game after it was not present at all in the game against the Islanders. It's pretty easy to look at the success the Avs have had here, the hard work that they put in this game, even if there was some sloppiness, even if they struggled with the puck at their own zone at times, even if their power play is still bad. Yes, they have issues, but they work, and they find ways to win. Right back on the horse, and now that New York Islanders game is the one that looks like the anomaly. Man, even when it feels like some of the Avs' best players aren't playing their best, this team is still fun to watch. A couple of odds and ends here. Blackwood was solid. Any night your goalie gives up 2 or less is a good night. I don't think he was tested all that hard, didn't have to make very many, if any, really big saves, but made all of the ones that he was supposed to. And while Nathan MacKinnon and Marty Necas get all the glory and picked up all the points, that's their job, credit to them, Cale Makar was also really, really good tonight. He was out there creating, playing quality defense, flying all over the ice, and doing a lot of good stuff. He didn't get rewarded in quite the same way the forwards did, but credit where credit's due there too. It's hard to call any win that big, even in December. We're not even 30 games into the season yet, but this one felt a little bit big. It felt like Dallas was starting to catch the Avs. It felt like the Avs may be slipping into a little bit of a slump here with how bad that Islanders game was. They have an OT loss not too long ago. To get that win, to get back onto this tracks at the ridiculous pace that the Avs are playing at this year, it feels comfortable. It feels nice. The vibes are high. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. Head on over to thednvr.com for all of our coverage. I am Rudo, and if you want me to have Nathan or the dog, I'll take the dog.